First, I would like to thank Cole Publishing and the staff of Cole Publishing and the hardworking men and women out there who are in the plumbing business, sewage business, and work in cooling towers for giving us the opportunity to speak. This will be about Legionnaires, and any questions on Legionnaires you can address through the
site at americatestyourwater.com.
I'm extremely interested in the water business myself. My name is James Daniel Dyer. I have been in it since I was 17 years old. My first job was lifeguard at the Pentagon, where at that time only male officers were allowed to swim. When you're at the Pentagon, you deal with the military, things have to be just perfect, including water, the water in the pool. These officers are designed and made into men that are fighting men and do research at the Pentagon. So they have to be in tip-top shape, and it's up to the lifeguards there to keep the water in great shape. I started in the business actually with my brother as a very young man, working for my stepfather. We were distributors for Bell & Gossett, Takeo, Thrush, and wholesaled everything, including Little Giant. My brother and I also installed these pumps and large swimming pool pumps, as well as heat pumps, boiler pumps, or any kind of pump you can think of in commercial buildings. So I'm very aware of what you do. What I want to address is your safety. You're going to be the first responders that are going to go into these buildings. And when you do, I'm only asking you to be very safe. I am still suggesting that you wear your mask, that you use gloves, and that you test the water. We have a test that you can test the water for Legionnaires in 7 minutes. This test right here is merely nanotechnology. It comes with a little tube, which you place inside. The application is on the cell phone. You push the button here. You push the button start on the phone, which is the application, and within 7 minutes, you will have the results, whether there is high bacteria count in your pool, in your home, in your apartment building as well. In addition, we have the AquaValve Pro 500, which I feel that some of you can retail to the homeowner to test their own water after you leave. Now, this test is about a 15-minute test, but can test for E. coli, bacteria, and Legionnaire's disease. Now, some of you may ask, where do Legionnaires come from? Legionnaires in the summer of 1976 was discovered in a hotel here in Philadelphia, just 40 minutes from where I live, during a convention of American Legion. In doing so, the cooling tower itself was one of the issues, and it went in through the air conditioning system. It injured and harmed a lot of people, and the CDC was the people who actually named it Legionnaire's disease. Since that time, for instance, in 2016, Legionnaires has grown 30%. 2019, it will be even higher due to the amount of breakouts that we saw in Washington, D.C. at the St. Elizabeth Hospital, in Atlanta, Georgia, and throughout parts of the South, including Pennsylvania and the Veterans Home. 2020, the CDC has announced that there will be a further breakout that they're worried about due to the fact that there are a lot of empty buildings sitting here right now with nobody in them, or they could have, as some of you know, a short amount of staff that use part of the buildings. So it's going to be very important that you test or suggest testing to the owners of these buildings, to the management of these buildings. The doctor later will speak about the system and what he feels should be done to these large buildings. My job is to inform you about when you go into these buildings. There is a hotel in Spain, we found out today, that tested 1,200 faucets just to be sure that the water was good for their guests in the hotel. At the same time, they're testing the swimming pool, they're testing the boiler, they're testing the air conditioners, and anywhere, especially shower heads. Now, we were in Texas. We did a study at a swimming pool. that we were invited. And the reason we were invited is because the health department had been there. They had had Legionnaires breakout 3 times, and the health department determined they did not know where the breakout was coming from. So we went in and then we tested. We ran close to 40 tests that day in a 12-hour day. What we found is that in the entrance of the disabled entrance to the swimming pool, we found Legionnaires. And the reason it was there's no circulation in that area of the pool. We then went over to the hot tub that is used. It's a 55 and older community. We found that the gasket there is Legionnaires. Then we went to the heater. In a heat exchanger we pulled out, we found Legionnaires. Then we went to the bathrooms. Well, in the ladies' bathrooms, the shower heads, everyone was dirty, had Legionnaires. We then went to even the garden hose on the deck. We found Legionnaires inside the garden hose. We were quite surprised at our findings and where the locations were. However, the young man who was taking care of the pool and his business may not be there. There are now 4 lawsuits in place because of the illnesses that 4 people came down with Legionnaires. Thank God there was no death, but they became very ill. And now the young man, because maybe he did not know about Legionnaires or testing of Legionnaires, may be put out of business because of these lawsuits. We hope not, but we feel they could. In these hotels that we're going into also, like the larger hotels, we're finding people very interested in our testing. And the reason is we go in, we're able to run the test, we get the reports, and our testing is then data stored through our little nanotechnology into our cell phone. Location and time of the test are recorded so that you can have an accurate reading, and you can even email it to, let's say, the manager of the hotel or the owner of the hotel. We have found this to be very, very rewarding, and is protecting the hotel against possible damages that they could occur if someone comes back, let's say August the 13th, and, oh, my stomach is hurting, I had Legionnaires. Well, they can pull out, they can show where, oh, by the way, we had this tested on that date. There couldn't have been Legionnaires there. Now, the challenge going back into these buildings that you're going to face, you do not know, nor do I, where the Legionnaires may be. A good example was in Wisconsin. We spoke to a school superintendent. She had addressed us about her school system. With the breakout, she closed all the schools, sealed the schools off, and then she shut down the water systems going into schools. Most likely, we feel that there could be Legionnaires in most every school. So what do? Well, you should flush the schools, the actual water out of any piping into the school system. You should go in the school system and start running your tests, hot water systems, boilers, shower heads, a swimming pool, anywhere that there is running water. If you discover Legionnaires, what do? You contact the health department right away, or you could have a water management plan in place and Google to see who could step in and start to clean up the Legionnaires. Now, Legionnaires is normally, you get rid of it through chlorine bleach that is used on swimming pools. So you may want to find out who is the best person to do this job and who will protect my clients, and what would the cost be. Well, start to Google, look around, but the main thing is you protect yourselves, wearing your mask, wearing your gloves. You do not drink the water. Do not drink any water until you are sure that it's bacteria free. You may find some traces of E. coli. E. coli is something that you all have seen when little children get in the swimming pool with their parents and you find something at the bottom of the pool that looks kind of brown. Well, that could be E. coli coming from the child. You don't know. What's required there is you come across E. coli is to drain the swimming pool completely. You go forward, you scrub it down, and you refill the pool. However, that is not done all the time. You also can put in heavy chlorination overnight into the swimming pool. Don't let anyone swim to the following day, and that should rid also the E. coli. But we're taught as lifeguards to go ahead and pump the pool. In my days of building swimming pools, I never came across Legionnaires because Legionnaires we were not aware of at the time as we are today. It was a very small thing. We were, aware of E. coli. We were aware of bacteria, but they never seemed to appear because we were able to keep our chlorination at proper levels and teach our homeowners and commercial pool owners the ways to chlorinate your swimming pool, shock your pool, and use the germicide that is sold that can protect your swimming pool from these items like E. coli and bacteria. But Legionella is on a growth spurt, is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we suggest that you learn as much as you can about it through Google. Now, if you have questions and you want to get the answers of our products, go to americatestyourwater.com. We are Genemis Laboratories of America Incorporated. We're located just outside of Philadelphia in Bucks County. Or email me directly, jd@americatestyourwater.com. Send the questions there if you wish, and I will answer them as best I can. If you're interested in our testing, also give me a call. My phone number is 973-557-5451. Again, it's 973-557-5451. In addition, if you wish to email me the questions, go to jd@americatestyourwater.com and email myself, email Sandra at sn@americatestyourwater.com. And we will answer your questions and get back to you. We do have a group of scientists that we're associated with that if we don't have the answers, we will go to them and get the answers for you. In addition, we have available for you a bag that you can get and take a sample of the water, and we'll find out the DNA for you of where the Legionnaires is coming from. In the Texas swimming pool, we found it was coming from the water system. It was not coming from the swimming pool. But it does exist in swimming pools, and you must rid itself of this Legionnaire problem, because it will cause death. In Atlanta last year, a young lady died. She was over 50 years old. Legionnaires is attracted to those over 50, those who have smoked, those who are overweight, those who have had a respiratory problem in the past. So those, for example, who live through this virus are more susceptible to Legionnaires than the average person under 50 years old in great health. So learn as much as you can. It will come through the heating system. It can get into these rooms. It can grow. Legionnaires have a tendency to hide, and when it hides, it's hard to find. They're big and fat. It's a very large bacteria that hides in smaller places, kind of like a mouse that gets in through the garage door. You don't know how that little thing got in there. So the way to do it is test, test, test. The more you test, the better it is for the environment, for your clients, for the people who will stay at these hotels or walk into these buildings, people who have jobs there. It is best for them that you test as much as you're allowed to. And if they don't want testing done, ask your attorney to create a waiver and ask them to sign it, that you have no liabilities. We have recently heard of an insurance company that have asked them, this is in the swimming pool business. For the first time in my life, I have seen an insurance carrier address the openings of swimming pools. Even though about 40% of swimming pools were not open this year due to the virus, they were telling their clients how they expected the swimming pool to be open. I found it very interesting, and What this means is, like in Atlanta, when that lady passed away, the insurance carrier of this major hotel told the hotel, you're not insured. You're not insured for Legionnaires. So what you may want to do also is contact your insurance carrier to see what type of coverage you have testing Legionnaires. Now, in California, there's a bill that's just been passed last week that addresses illnesses from the virus or Legionnaires. What they're saying is if one of your employees gets ill from the virus, that's workers' compensation. So you may want to check your state to see, in the event this were to happen to you, what the statutes are, and find out and learn more from your state and what they're expecting of you. You have a license, protect your license. You have good insurance, protect your insurance, and you have great employees. Now, protect your employees because they're the ones who go out every day in their trucks and vans and big trucks, and they make you a good living. Plumbers through history have made a good living. So you can protect them as well, and them going home to their families as well as yourself. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please contact us. We're more than glad to help you.
At this point, I'd like to introduce myself. I was sitting beside James Dyer, who is the president and CEO of our company, Genemis Laboratories. But I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Sandra Newman, president of our company, and tell you a little bit about me and the reason why I entered into this. I actually worked in the field of education for more than 44 years and retired as an educational consultant, working closely with families and children, testing and diagnosing learning difficulties. Immediately upon retiring, I found myself interested in helping others again, and therefore entered the field of bacteria, Legionnaires, and E. coli, and started testing to help prevent illness and save lives, which has been my lifetime journey. We had no way of knowing that this virus would establish itself, and therefore the reason we went into this was way before, actually about 8 months before everything started happening. And since that time, we have traveled throughout the United States and Europe testing of water. I'd like at this point to close with saying that if you have any other questions, you could address to James. He goes by Dan, James Dan Dyer, the CEO, or myself, Sandra Newman at snamericatestyourwater.com. Again, that's sn@americatestyourwater, or you can call us at 973-557-5451. That's 973-557-5451. I want to thank you very much for listening to us. And again, we wish you all to be very safe and sound during this time, and we look forward to hearing good things in the future.